So our new unit is on rites of passage is our main focus. So what is a rite of passage? A rite of passage is just a ceremony or event marking an important stage in someone's life. So a rite of passage is not something that goes unnoticed. It's usually a big deal, and it varies from culture to culture what it is, but if you're part of that culture or whatever culture you're part of, it definitely is recognized. It doesn't go unnoticed because it's like a significant change in your life. So there are 4 rites of passage that every culture in the world recognizes. They celebrate them in different ways, but every culture in the entire world celebrates these 4: birth, adulthood or puberty, and then marriage and death. So these are the main rites of passage, but there are many more little ones that kind of mark in between stages, like between birth and puberty. You take your first steps. That's like a rite of passage. It's a big deal. So those aren't the only rites of passage, but those are the 4 that every culture celebrates, and then it kind of varies in between. So there is like a process for a rite of passage, which is why it's a little different than just like I said, it's a big deal. So you are in the first state, so maybe that is, childhood, and state 2 is adulthood. And in between those 2, there is a separation phase, a transition phase, and an incorporation phase so separation is you separate from your family or from society in general, and you have to kind of do something on your own. Then the transition phase is while you're on your own, you do a thing, whatever it is, depending on the stage. You do something that transitions you into that next stage where you can be reincorporated into society as the new thing. Like maybe now you're an adult or something like that. So really, this sounds really complicated, but it's pretty simple. So if you look at the numbered image below, so we have state 1, let's say you are you cannot drive, so you are a young teen, or even you could say a preteen. That's your first state. Stage 2, so in your separation, you have to go to the DMV, into that room, and take the driver's test to get your permit, or you have to go by yourself to the school to take that driving test. So that would be stage 2. You have to separate, you have to do this on your own. 3, the transition phase would be actually taking the test. So you're doing the thing that will move you into the next stage of your life, taking the driving test or the permit test. And then 4, incorporation, you return home joyous with your driver's license because you did it. You did the thing. So you're reincorporated in society, but now when you come back to your family, you're not some dumb preteen who can't drive. You're halfway to adulthood. You are now an older teen who can drive and has that freedom and skill. You have a new understanding of the world. You're welcome into like the new club of people who can drive. So it's silly when you kind of break it down like this, but that's really all there is to it. It's this rite of passage is something we experience all the time, and we celebrate. It's a big deal when things like this happen. So that's what you need to know about rites of passage.